1. Let's get started.
So I was able to get out on the Sundiver based out of Long Beach to do some diving at Catalina. I was meeting up my friend Christopher, who hasn't dove his rebreather in a few months. So he wanted to get out and dive his rebreather at shallower depths before we go out next week to dive the Hogan. Here's Chris and his Liberty, and I forget exactly the locations that we dove, but they were all closer to two harbors. Here's me in my KISS Sidewinder, and I'm using my Hollis Harness. I think my Hollis Harness is way better suited for the KISS Sidewinder than my X Deep, but don't get me wrong, the X Deep is a good harness. It just might be how I have mine configured. Here I'm showing Chris totally missed the boat on the giant sea bass that swam by. Kind of did a buzz by and it continued on. Of course, there's Chris again, taking to the bottle, as always. Don't know if you noticed, but Chris is not diving a hood. That's crazy to me. The other thing that I think is crazy is that Chris told me that his Liberty, without the lead that he added, weighs almost 90 pounds. My KISS rebreather with the harness, I think without lead, it probably weighs maybe 40-ish pounds with my canisters completely full. But 90 pounds just seems so much. This Nudie really caught my eye. It looked like a Spanish shawl with a haircut, but I'm sure this is not a Spanish shawl. But it is cool and very pretty with the yellow dots. When we came up to this sculpin or scorpion fish, it was really neat. It was really tiny. I would say it was probably about 3 inches, but it looks like he's an adult. I love going into the thickness of the Kelp Forest, and it literally looks like these kelp stalks are like just giant trees. Chris decided to kind of weave into the various fronds, and I just followed him shortly behind. I love these Gregorians. You can definitely come across many of them in the Kelp Forest at Catalina. We have them too in San Diego, but they're kind of scattered about. Here you see a little baby anemone. This one was like a ½ inch, but its tentacles was pretty cool. So during the second dive, we finally came upon some giant sea bass. These were 2 of them, but there were another 2 shortly around the other corner. I didn't get those on video. I only got these guys. But I love seeing the giant sea bass. I forget what the name of these little guys are, but there's literally like hundreds and thousands of them swimming around. And of course, the sheephead. Sheephead fish, they're beautiful. This is a female. I think slightly right to the right of this one's another female. A couple more females. Lots of females. As we were noodling about at around 100 feet, Captain Kaya decided to do a swim by. I tried to keep up with her, but she was super, super fast in her rig. She literally blew right past me. Looking good. At this location, we made our way down to 150 feet. I think this was a abandoned, looks like a crab net just sitting there. And then at around 155, 158 feet was this cage. The cage was really small. It almost kind of looked like it was a chum cage. And I believe chumming is illegal in California. But as you can see here, the depth was 157. And there was this little cage here. Making our way back up, came upon this Nudie, a Spanish shawl. I know this one really is a Spanish shawl. The other one I'm sure has its own name, and if you know what it is, please let me know what it is, because I really don't know. So during the start of our third dive, this was just right around the corner from Two Harbors, and we were greeted by the seal. He kind of chilled with us, stuck around for, I would say, about 5-10 minutes doing his buzz-bys, and we were probably in about 55-60 feet of water. We just hung out at the reef. Because we were hanging out in the rocks, I was starting to look for eels, which I came up with a big 0. No eels. But water temperature at Catalina was fairly cold. I mean, it was 55 degrees, so no different than San Diego. But definitely cool to dive the Kelp Forest. I think I'm going to start doing more and more diving at La Jolla Cove. I know entry and exit can be challenging there, but I just love seeing the kelp. Here we are, just about to go right back into the Kelp Forest. I'm following Chris. He decided to lead all 3 dives, mainly because I wanted him to get I haven't paid too much attention to the Garibaldi, but if you are familiar with diving California waters, this is the California state fish, I believe. And this is an abalone, I'm pretty sure. And the only reason why it caught my eye was because the divers on the boat were talking about potentially shucking abalone. I don't know if it's in season, if you can take abalone, but I know at one point the abalone was protected. So we're getting close to the end of our dive, and I wanted to get some footage of my tank placement. I kind of did something a little bit different with my straps being a little further down, and from what I can tell, I think I like the tank strap placements better. They seem to be holding the tanks in position better. So at the end here, Chris and I decided to do a little photo op, kind of hanging out together. It was great diving with Chris, and I look forward to diving with him at the Hogan next week on Sunday. I hope to see you guys down below.